Hello, my name's Auntie Eva and I'm excited to share a story called Running with the Wolves by Byron, who's 12. Byron was one of the finalists for the 2024 Create My Book Challenge. Let's listen to your story. Running with the Wolves. Katniss ran through the dense forest, leaping over logs and sliding under low-hanging branches and vines. The biodiversity of plants struggled to find the weak sunlight that dappled the floor through the thick canopy. Katniss stopped, olive skin standing out in an ocean of green. She leapt onto a tall rock, strong arms pulling her onto the tip of the boulder. Her long hair hung down, glinting like a raven's wing. Katniss's green eyes darted around, watching for movement. A shuffle in the ferns caught her attention. She jumped down, landing on all fours. A pale brown wolf jumped out, barking and jumping around her. "Hi, hi, hi," the little wolf seemed to say. "Hi, Thorn. What's happening?" The little wolf snuffled and turned around, tail held high. Katniss grabbed the brown leather book she was drawing in and followed her adopted brother. "The others wanted to show you something," he snuffled, large paws galloping towards the cave. Katniss ran alongside him, easily keeping up. They entered the gaping mouth of the cave. A cold breeze washed over them. She looked at the circle of grey, black and brown pelts and crouched down beside them. "We found this strange human object," Alpha growled, pushing it with his nose towards her. "Can you tell us what it is?" Katniss picked up the sharp rock. "I think it's a human claw or knife." "Thank you." Alpha dipped his head and snuffled in thanks. She placed it down and leaned back on a rock. Her eyelids fluttered and she fell into a sweet dream about buttercups, daisies and moonlight. She woke from her dreams with the sound of crackling and grey smoke filling the air. Katniss's green eyes watered and she stumbled forward, as blind as a bat. She felt something brush past her knee and she fell flat onto the stone floor, scratching her cheek. Blood splattered onto the ground and she rose to her knees, squinting in the low light. "Kat, is that you? What's happening?" a familiar voice growled. "I don't know, Thorn. Where are the others?" "I don't know. They left me alone." Thorn howled with grief, nuzzling Katniss's hand. She patted his soft fur and hugged him gently. A warm burst of air struck her and the smoke cleared enough for her to faintly see orange, yellow and red tongues of fire reach towards her. She scrambled back, grazing her elbows and startling Thorn. She wiped her cheek and growled, "It's fire." "Fire?" Thorn's confusion suddenly turned to pain as he yelped as the fire brushed his leg. Katniss grabbed him, dragging him away and farther into the cave. "Follow me." He nodded and limped behind her. Katniss kicked a large stone and revealed a secret tunnel. She lay down on her stomach and slid like a snake through the tight hole. Thorn grunted and snorted behind her. Cold air swept her into the dry earth outside of the cave. Thorn spat out some dust and stood up, looking at the fallen trees and charred patterns burned into the earth. Katniss gasped and surveyed the area with tears in her eyes. She had managed to grab her bag that contained her book, some berries, and a bottle of cold water. It hung low on her shoulder as she stared at the wrecked area that once was her home. Thorn nudged her leg and barked to bring her back from the memories that haunted and swirled around her. She sighed and trudged forward, feet hurting as they brushed the hot, rough ground. Thorn whimpered and dragged his injured leg behind him. She looked back at Thorn to see him at least 3 meters behind. She sighs and trudged back before scooping him up into her thin but strong arms. The smoke swirled around her more fiercely now, making it hard to see. She felt Thorn wiggle in her arms and she set him down, arms limply like hanging vines. Thorn's leg was better now, and she decided to rest at a large cherry tree beside a running river. She slumped down, legs aching. "Cat, okay?" "Yes, I'm fine, Thorn, just a little tired." She pulled him closer. "Now, let's look at that leg." The burn looked nasty, with dried blood and pus surrounding the raw, angry skin. She ripped a thick strand of fabric from her pants and dipped it into the cold river before gently cleaning the wound. "Ow!" Thorn yelped, ears pinned and tail curled. She held him still and finished cleaning. Then she grabbed her backpack and pulled out a bandage before wrapping it on his lower hind leg. A snarl from up high in the cherry tree startled them, and Cat looked up to see a giant house cat, or was it a small bobcat? No, it had a tail. "Hello, human. What are you doing here?" The large cat purred. Sleek, splotchy red fur camouflaged against the dark branches. Its long tail twirled as the feline leapt down. Thorn growled, but Cat stopped him from leaping at the cat. "We are looking for our pack." Cat knew that cats were tricky, and you should never, ever make a deal with them. They are pythons disguised as simple garden snakes. "You mean the feral dogs that ran here a few days ago?" Cat nodded. They headed east from here. Turn left at the barn when you see it. Thorn and Cat looked at each other, equally as puzzled. "I'll just show you." "Any idea where they are, Thorn?" Follow the moon." The cat stalked forward, tail arching to the sky. They seemed very confident in themselves and only stopped when "We have to cross the river." Thorn went first, soaring over the rushing current, then the cat, who just climbed a tree and jumped down onto the other side. Cat stood on a wobbling stone, shrieking as it fell away from the riverbed, and she tumbled into the rushing foam. She heard Thorn's muffled howls and the cat hisses. She was pulled further and further downstream until firm teeth grabbed the edge on her coat. The strong jaws of this wolf pulled her out of the swirling, tumbling mass. Sakura trees littered the area. A large hole underneath one signalled the den. Thorn howled and charged into the clearing, yelping and barking. The cat hissed and snarled at Thorn, arguing what to do. "Alpha!" Cat screamed with joy, hugging his shaggy grey pelt. "Cat, you're here! They're all here!" Cat, Thorn. "I believe I should introduce myself. I am Applethroat, a simple cat of Lion Clan." "Very nice to meet you, Applethroat." Cat bowed. "This is my pack, the Sakura pack. Dear Cat, it's nice to see you back with us. The Sakura pack would like you to join us." Applethroat looked torn between staying with her blood clan or joining her friend's new pack. The sakura trees dipped and waved gently in the soft breeze. Cat breathed in the crisp scent of the cherry blossoms and sighed. She knew what Applethroat's answer would be. I am so sorry, darling, but I can't bear to leave my family. So I formally decline your request to join the mighty Sakura pack. But I do hope we see each other again someday. And with that, Applethroat twirled around and bounded into the amber woods. Tears fell from Cat's face and looked like drops of gold in the afternoon sun. She curled up beside Thorn and with a yawn fell into a deep sleep about all of her friends from the journey. What a great story. Thanks for sharing it with us, Byron.